that pertains to your grade. So, I do have one. So, here's the grade in the green section. Here's the grade. Here's the assessor comment. If you made something other than an A, there should be a comment there kind of saying, hey, you can still do this. You can still make this grade. You can still make a better grade. Okay? Now, you do the math. 150 out of 200, that's going to be the highest grade you can get if you do that final version perfectly. Then, you might have a C, and, you may think, I don't want a C because that's going to hurt my GPA. It's only a 1 hour C, 1 hour worth of C. I think it would be better for you to stay in the class and make a C than to leave the class and have to repeat it and pay tuition for it and so on and so forth. Okay, so with that said, under dashboard, you can get there two different ways. You can click on the course number that's right here, or you can go over here to your list of courses and click on the course, and you should get to the overview tab. And in the overview tab, you'll see this assignment for today, which is the assessment assignment. So you can click on that and open it. We are going to have handouts, and I'm going to email some information to you just as soon as we finish with class, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So to talk about sort of the overview of the assignment, we are going to approach assessment from a way that you may not think about, but it's a very common thing that actual classroom teachers have to deal with, okay? So here's your scenario of what we're doing today. You have a 4th grade class that you're teaching. Now, majority of us are elementary, early childhood, or middle level. So if you're elementary, early childhood, you're certified, you'll be certified K4. If you're elementary, it's K6. I think it's pre-K4 and then K6. If you're middle level, you'll be certified 4th through 8th. So 4th grade is a grade that you all have in common. That's why I selected 4th grade. Okay? So we're pretending that you're already in the classroom and you're all 4th grade teachers. In the 3rd grade, your students that you're going to have, for this school year, those students took a benchmark test in April. Now, most of the schools don't call them benchmarks anymore. They last year gave a test called the PARC test, and then I've been told this year it's supposed to be ACT Inspire. But it's sort of, they all do the same thing. They're mainly to monitor the students' learning and growth. So, if they give those tests in the spring, March, April, whenever they're going to administer those tests, most likely those school districts will not get the test results back until late July, early August. They have to send them off to be evaluated. They're not evaluated locally. So in August, one thing that a lot of schools have their teachers do during in-service days is to get together and brainstorm over the results of these tests. So you might end up working with those 3rd grade teachers as 4th grade teachers to talk about what the 3rd grade teachers did, and then look at the test results and figure out, okay, this individual student went through the test and they did this. And you can both learn from that assessment, okay? That's something that a lot of times we run out of time as teachers and we skip that part. But that's a very, very valuable information, and it's going to help us to get those students on the right track. Now, I'm also using a math example today, but this works for English language arts as well. Okay? And there are those of you that are middle level, English, language arts, social studies, and you may be thinking, I'm not ever going to teach math. Well, guess what? You probably will. Because one thing you can do is take the Praxis 2 in math and get certified to teach it. And sometimes you will encounter what happened to me. I was a chemistry teacher, secondary chemistry teacher, and our students were having trouble on the end of course literacy exam. And so all of the teachers in the building, no matter what your subject area, we were told we had to do something to help these students with literacy rates. And so every test exam we had, just regular test, we had to have a test question on there that modeled what the students would see on the end of course literacy test. And I may have already told y'all this story. But when we got those tests back and started looking at it, then we realized that some of the students were just not following the directions. And I'll talk about that a little more in a minute. So we felt like we needed to do some things that would help the students with test strategy for that style of question. Okay? So you learn a lot of stuff by looking at these things, and you can see, oh, that's where they're having trouble, we need to fix that. So that's what you're going to be doing. Your task is going to be determine why the students made the mistake and how you can reteach these concepts. So in class, I'm going to model what you're going to do in your group work. Okay? So I'm going to, as a whole class, we're going to go through an activity, and I'm going to model what you're going to be doing in groups. Then you're going to do some group work today, and then the next step is outside of class, you're going to take that information from your group work and you're going to do some individual work about that. And I'll tell you a little more about that at the end of class as well. Because if I tell you right now, it's not going to make sense. But bottom line, you're going to answer 2 questions in live text and you're going to attach an image. Okay? You won't have a file to attach. Now, I want to go back to the first step and talk about modeling what you're actually going to be doing today in your group work. So the student, we're looking at 5 students, same exact problem, okay? So this was a problem on a math test that the students all were required to take. And it says all segments of the figure intersect at right angles. The lengths are shown in centimeters. So those numbers represent the lengths of each of those sides or lines, if you want to think of it that way. Okay? Now the actual, I guess you could say problem, is to find the area of this figure or this diagram. This student took all of the numbers, this is student A, they took all of the numbers and added those numbers up and they got 38. What did they, and that's incorrect. The correct answer is 60. What did they do wrong?
They took the perimeter.
They found the perimeter. Okay, so what could we do to fix this? What's one thing we could do to fix this? Make sure they know the difference between perimeter and area. What's the second thing that they need to know to be able to go into solving area?
Find out how.
Know like the area formula.
They have to know how by using the formula. Okay, they have to know how to work it. So this student just got confused about area, between area and perimeter. Okay? I love kind of picking this apart. I think it's I mean, this is geeky, but I think it's kind of fun to look at this and try to figure out what the student did. Okay, again, same problem. This student got 72.